3, 2, 1, and let's rock. Hey, good
Hello,
morning
y'all.
or good
Good
afternoon.
morning,
How is
good
everybody?
afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this.
Right.
Welcome to Serving Face and Hills. I think episode 27? I
Yes, we are at
think it's
27, my
27,
dear.
y'all.
Yes, yes.
27.
Oh my God.
It is Sunday. It is not Sunday actually. This is Friday morning, just so everyone
Yes.
knows. This is going to be
Pre
a pre-recorded episode. Um and that's because Sunday when this airs, it is Father's
Father's
Day.
Day. Happy
So
Father's Day to
happy
all the
Father's Day
daddies,
to all the dads, bonus dads, dad figures,
dad
moms that are
figures.
dads.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. All of the
it's just happy
uncles, all of
Father's
the
Day,
any
uncles.
man figure in your life that's taking the toll of your dad.
Yes,
We salute you today. We celebrate you.
salute you. Um, Krssi and myself are spoiling the father of our children today,
Yes,
which is
yes.
why we are pre-recording this. Uh,
Yep.
so I'm just going to preface this. This is before SmackDown on Friday, so we actually
Yes.
do not know what goes on tonight
Hmm.
on SmackDown, so we won't be able to speak to that. However, we can go over obviously the stuff that's happened since last SmackDown, and just have a quick chat about that.
Yep.
Um, we'll probably keep this pretty short, y'all, because it is Father's Day. We appreciate you tuning in and watching, but we also
Yes.
want you guys to enjoy your day. So,
Yep.
anyway, Miss Krssi, how have you been?
I'm okay, my darling. And how are you? I seen you the other day. We did a show together,
We
in the
did.
weeds, which was
We
really
did in the
fun.
week with Fightful Overbooked with Joel
Yes.
and SP.
SP.
Thank you guys for having us on. It was a lot of
Yep.
fun talking
So
about
fun.
women's
Yes.
wrestling. Um, I like how we're like the women's wrestling tag team. Like
Exactly, right? They call us to talk all the tag team wrestling, which is fine. I'm here for it
I'm
all, so it's all
completely
good.
fine with I'm fine with it. Anyway, thank you for having us on, guys. We'll just jump into some news that's happened over the last week. There's something in the water, Miss Krssi, and everyone's drinking it. But it turns
Yeah,
out it was announced that Miss Billy Kay, or formerly known as Billy Kay,
formerly known as
at
Billy Kay.
WWE, is also pregnant
Yes, she's expecting.
with
Congrats to
her
her.
first child. So congratulations to her. She's joined the
She
club
joined
of
the club. Yep.
pregnancies. Who else? Carmella, Alexa
Carmela,
Bliss,
Alexa
and
Bliss.
Taya. Taya? No. How do you say her name?
Oh,
Tamela.
oh, Ty Mello. Yes,
Tamela.
yes. And she's announced
Thank
that
you.
she's having a girl.
Oh, did
So
she? I did
they
not see.
announced
I did not hear
they
that.
announced that they're having
Nice.
a baby girl. So that's wonderful for them.
So she's
Um,
having a girl. Carmella's having a
a
boy. Obviously,
boy.
we'll have to see what Alexa Bliss ends up having, and Billy Kay, but congratulations again to her, to all of them.
All of
That
them.
if these kids end up wrestling, they
Oh
have a
my
whole new generation coming. You have Becky and Seth's kid, you have Cody Rhodes and Brandy's kid, you have all these new babies coming this year. Like the generation of wrestling is going to be okay
It is. I feel
if
like,
these kids
yeah,
decide to actually pursue wrestling. So
I'm excited for them. I can't wait to see, like, oh my God, I watched your mom and now I watch you. It's like it's so amazing. Like, like Ric Flair. It's like the same thing. It's like all like coming
yeah,
full circle. So it is really, really beautiful.
it is really cool.
So you're either
So
pregnant or you're
congratulations to
injured.
her. You're injured. Again, two different types of water. You either drink the injury water or the pregnancy water.
Yep.
I don't want either.
I don't want
So
that part.
wishing quick recovery to everyone who is out injured right now.
Yeah.
Um, I fully expected to see Liv Morgan in the Money in the Bank match just because she does a lot of the risky
Risky
spots, but
stuff.
she
Yeah.
is injured. So I don't believe she's going to end up being it. But you can tell there's some people missing now. Which might be part of the Rhea issue, which we'll get into.
Mhm. Mhm.
However, also in news, Trinity was actually on Sherry Shepherd's show, the
Yes, her
Sherry
talk
Shepherd
show
show,
last
excuse
week.
me,
Yep. Mhm.
which is awesome to me because uh, she's really
Sherry's a
kind of
big
getting
fan.
Impact's name out there. Sherry's a
Yes.
big fan of
Yeah, I
wrestling
didn't
in
know, yeah, I
general.
didn't know that she was a big fan of wrestling, and yet I was like very, very shocked. She's like she followed them and like knew what was
Oh
happening, and
yeah,
she gave her this platform. and she really wanted, like, you know, Trinity to come out and, like, you know, being a safe space and environment and tell her,
Yes.
you know, tell her side of things. She's never really spoke about anything till now. It's almost been like
Yeah.
almost what, a year, 2
A
years
year.
almost? Okay, year.
A year, right?
And I believe, yeah,
I
what are we
think
in June? Yeah, a
it
year.
was
Yeah.
right after, not right after Mania, but
It was like
it's about a
May
year.
sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Yep.
no, she was on Sherry Shepherd's show. She did speak to some of it. Um, and there were a lot of critics online, as normal, nothing's new, about Jimmy and
Mhm.
his quote unquote lack of support online.
Wow.
And I think a
Wow.
lot of people were like, he doesn't need to be online
To
supporting
support
her.
her. Yep. Just
He
be
is
there
her
for her.
husband, and
Yep.
clearly they've had conversations and whatever. But they made a big point on Sherry Shepherd's show to show Jimmy, saying he knows also a wrestler and is he your biggest supporter? And she's like, he absolutely is. And it's one
Mhm.
of those things where I'm like, I feel like that was her way of shutting that down, some of that
Yeah.
criticism, because
Yep.
Jimmy's not online,
Yep.
yelling at the rooftops for her. And I'm like, this is a husband and wife. This isn't characters,
Mhm.
guys. Like, I'm sure they've had plenty of conversation before she left WWE and after she left WWE about how they were going to handle this stuff in public. Um, because obviously her husband is a huge part of the WWE programming right now,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
In
Mhm.
a storyline with Roman and Jay, and Heyman and Solo. So it's one of those things where, and you can
Trini
actually see Trinity tweeting about it and making comments about it, so she's watching her husband. So it's like one of those
And
things
she
where I'm like,
said something about it's the bloodline, like, that's what we are,
yeah,
like,
she
that's what
said
we do, like,
bloodline,
she
baby.
said bloodline, baby, like, you know, like, and she doesn't have to even do that, like, that's like, I feel like she did too much. I was like, she doesn't even have to do this for you people, like, she's like, let it, like,
Mm-mm.
if she didn't want to
No.
talk about it, she don't have to talk about it, like, listen, she's gone this long. I'm surprised, like, you know, she went out there and she even spoke about it, because, you know, really she could have just talked about, like, for Impact, like, she could have just kept it, like, straightforward and didn't even have to, like, bring up the other stuff.
And to be honest, she didn't
Didn't go that deep.
spend that
Yeah.
much time on it. She just said her piece. And she's like, it was a rough time just trying to figure out what
Yep.
she wanted to do. She's like, when you're
Mhm.
used to something, it is hard to step out of that comfort zone. And
Yep.
she said all that. And she's like,
Mhm.
and then she spoke to her and Sasha's relationship. And
Like, that's
again,
her
as you
bestie.
guys
Yes. Yep.
know,
Mhm.
online, plenty of people talking about Sasha this, Sasha that. Oh my God, Sasha dragged Trinity with her. Oh, she took her down this rabbit hole
No.
too. Da, 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 da. And again, Trinity making it quite clear, we were sisters, we've been sisters, and
And we're
we're
always
still
gonna.
sisters, if not
Yep.
closer than ever, because they did take this huge step and change together. And she just made it quite clear that that's her sister for life, and I'm sure that, just as an adult woman, you go through things in life, um, and you always have that one or two friends or whatever it may be
Yeah.
who just stick with you regardless of
Mhm.
what's going
Ride with
on.
you. Yep.
Sometimes you do it together, sometimes you do it by yourself with their support, whatever it might be. But just knowing what that sisterhood feels like, I knew exactly what she was talking about.
Yep.
And
I'm happy
and
she has
you
that
have to
in her.
understand, when
Yep.
we make decisions as adult women
Mhm.
in our lives, we don't have the criticism and the negativity and the haters constantly coming at us online talking about it. They had to
Yep.
deal with that part and read it and listen to it and take it in. And somehow they still remained graceful. They
Yep.
still kept their silence, because trust me, if I saw some shit like that online about me, I would have been like, that's not true. That's not what
Yep.
happened. Like, you want to defend yourself, right?
Yep.
But in this case, the best way they defended themselves was by staying quiet.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they just showed people,
I think they made their own narrative.
they didn't show people their cards. They
Yep.
wrote it out, through all the criticism, all the
Mhm.
assumptions, all
Mhm.
the talk, all the rumors, and they are now showing you what they've been working on. And and they both literally said, it was time for a change. And
Yeah.
they kept it at that. They didn't bash anybody. They haven't thrown anyone under the bus, and they just
Yep.
said we wanted to try something different, and so they did. And
Very
kudos to
classy.
them for being
Mm-hmm.
classy about it.
Yep.
Kudos to them for showing their grace.
Yep.
Kudos to them for having to take all that shit they saw online. Because I'm sure they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And and rising above that, because no matter how you feel about Sasha, which I know she has a lot of haters, she also has a lot of people that love her. Regardless how you feel about, sorry, Mercedes. I keep saying Sasha.
It's
Mercedes.
fine.
No matter how you feel about Trinity, again, she has her haters and doubters or whatever. And just as many people that love her. So no matter what you think about them, you have to respect how they handled this whole situation. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Especially with what was thrown at them from WWE themselves on commentary.
Negative.
Which
Ugh.
we've gone into depth about how I thought that was
We're pissed.
unprofessional as hell.
Yep.
Um,
It
on
still upsets
WWE's
me.
part. So anyway, it was a great interview. If you haven't watched it, I would say go watch it with Trinity on Sherry Shepherd's show.
Hmm.
She had some fun with Sherry where she was trying to show Sherry how to
Walk.
do an entrance,
Hmm.
do the glow entrance, and it was actually really cute. And Sherry went all out and
Yeah.
was on the floor and like trying to do all this stuff. So it was very cute. And again, go watch it if you haven't. But that is it. That's all we had for news
That's all we had. Yep.
this week, as far as the women's division goes. So let's just jump into it. We'll talk about SmackDown last week. Um, Probably the biggest thing that happened on the show, in my opinion, obviously the upgrade of the which one did she have? The Raw Women's Championship. So,
She had the Raw
look,
Women's
I done
Champion.
forgot.
So now
She
we,
Asuka had
we
the Raw
can
Women's Championship.
we complained about
Adam
her
Pearce
having
comes
it.
out there.
Yep.
We'll talk about it. Adam Pearce comes out there and presents the title to Asuka as he's literally putting the belt on Asuka's waist. Guess who shows back up? Woo! Miss
Woo!
Flair, of course, smelt a title and came running.
Came running.
She smelled some gold and she was like, "Well, haven't had that one."
I
And she,
think I need to
we
add
have
that to the
not,
collection.
correct. We have not seen Miss Charlotte Flair since WrestleMania, where she was beaten by Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yep.
So everyone, of course, was, is she going to be back in time for SummerSlam? Is she going to wait? Is she going to stay on vacation? Like whatever it is. And I guess I wasn't really online. I was
Hmm.
extremely busy that week. We actually had a show. I had a show at my venue that day, a SmackDown, so I did not get to watch it. I was very busy working a show that day. But I guess there was a lot of chatter online when it was announced that Asuka was going to be presented with a new title at SmackDown that night. I
Hmm.
guess there were a lot of memes and jokes like, "Oh, a new title, Charlotte Flair is probably going to show up." And I guess people were joking about it, and actually found this out from King Troy. So while I was working my show, Troy was trying to call me
Hmm.
to tell me to watch SmackDown. And I was like,
Wow.
and I
Okay.
didn't see it though until after the show was over. So it was like 11 o'clock my time. And
Interesting.
so I called him back. I just saw him, I had a missed call from him. So I called him back.
Hmm.
And so he was like, "Did you watch SmackDown?" And I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm working. I have a show tonight." I'm like,
Hmm.
"Why? Like, what happened?" And he's like, "I'm not going to tell you. You got to watch it." And I'm like, "Troy, it's 11 o'clock at night, bro. Like,
Right.
I'm not watching SmackDown at 11 o'clock at night."
Right now. Yeah.
Um, so I was like, "Just tell me." And so he told me, and that Asuka got a new title, and I was like, "What? Huh?"
Hmm.
Because I don't know if y'all remember, if you go back and watch the last episode of ours, we were
We
popping the
were
fuck
pissed.
off about
Yep.
what are they doing with the
Yep.
Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships,
Hmm.
because it's dumb that they're on the opposite brands and no one's addressing it. Like no one's
No
even
one
mentioning
said
it. Like it's
anything,
not a thing.
and it's been like a month. And it's been weeks. Weeks.
It's been since Mania.
It's
Since
been weeks, and
Mania.
no one has said a thing.
Or
And
I'm
it's
sorry, since I'm not since Mania, since the draft, which was a couple weeks after Mania.
still
So
stupid.
and we were, and I think we had said like we were hoping the women's titles will be rebranded and they dropped the brand names, and that's exactly what they did. Thank God. Um so anyway,
But
Charlotte Flair comes out. Um basically says, I don't wait in lines. I'm the queen. While Bianca Belair was backstage and they asked her to stay back there, don't attack Asuka. You will have your title rematch. Just stay in the back, right? And Bianca's like, fine. As long as I
Whatever.
have
Yeah.
a title rematch, fine, right? Charlotte Flair's out there talking about I don't wait in lines. I want that title now.
Right.
And they set a match, and Asuka accepts. They set a match for SmackDown the night before Money in the Bank. The SmackDown before Money in the Bank, they have a match.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, they posted, another video of Bianca looking at Adam Pearce all crossed, like,
Mm-hmm. Like ready to pop off.
what?
Like what's
Excuse
happening?
me? My rematch. Why is she getting a match before me? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam's like, oh, I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That. Um, so now you have your first kind of conflict between Bianca and Charlotte, which I'm assuming is where this is headed. I just don't know
Right.
if it's Mania, because Mania is quite some time away. Or is it like
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam? So I guess we'll see. Um,
Yeah. It's more
Bigger
the
question
tweets.
is, why is this
Yeah.
match not on Money in the Bank, Miss Krssi? And it's the night before instead.
Because they need viewership. They need people to like see this, fill in the seats because they're going to be in, I think it's like London. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He'll be in London, not SmackDown
So
before,
I think
yeah.
they want to like make SmackDown really like worth is like the night before, of course. So you have to make SmackDown like worthy for people to like come and see and do things, and then make them excited for something to happen on Money in the Bank. So I think that's where they're using their kind of strategic way of like saying, hey, we need viewership and we need people to buy tickets. Let's see Charlotte come back, things like that.
Hmm. I mean, it's a
So
big money match. Oscar versus Charlotte. We know that they have insane chemistry in the
yes.
ring. Um, I actually think it's for different reasons.
Okay.
I guess we'll watch it play out, but I don't know if you all know this, but the women's Money in the Bank match still needs one more contender.
Yes, yes, yes. Because right now we have
But Becky, Zelina, we haven't talked about it yet, but Bailey, Io,
mhm,
and
Zoe.
Zoe, and we're
And
missing
that's
one more.
there's one more slot, but we have a strong select piece of girls, and I feel like we have like old and new. Like I feel like they did a nice blend and mixture for the girls to like do really, really well for this Money in the Bank.
The lineup for this Money in the Bank match is actually really, really good. You have Becky
Solid
and Bailey, who are your anchors in
anchors.
this
Yep.
match.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the not newer, because I wouldn't consider Zelina newer to
But she's
these
one of the
matches, because
smaller
she was
girls.
rarely ever put in matches. She was always a manager. But Zelina, who likes to jump off things and flip and do all those things. You have
Because I
Zoe, who's
guess
an incredible wrestler.
right,
Incredible wrestler. So I'm really curious to see how she does in this match. And then you have Io, of course, who we know likes to fly off of shit. So
right,
um
right.
the match itself has a good plethora of newer girls that were called up to main roster. More
To get them
recently,
this. Yep.
you have your veterans, if you will, in Becky and Bailey. And then you have Zelina, who really always adds charisma to her matches. So um, to me, it mentioned that they're missing a powerhouse like Piper Niven or Raquel.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Um,
Like
However,
the big strong girls.
if you want to talk about strong, why
We
not the
need
strongest?
best, the
Where am I
fastest,
going with this? Well, I can see this going a
the
couple different ways.
toughest.
I do not believe that Asuka and Charlotte will be a clean
Win.
match.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Bianca will end up DQing. I believe they'll get into a big thing about, you shouldn't be jumping in front of me. Da, 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 da. Is it leading to a triple threat? Maybe. But how's another way to cut in front of the line if you need to? By winning a Money in the Bank
Money in the
briefcase.
Bank. Yep.
Do
Mm-hmm.
they add
Mm-hmm.
Bianca to this match last minute? Because again, Asuka and Charlotte's match is the night before
Right.
Money in the Bank. So does Bianca end up adding herself? Do they add her to that Money in the Bank match so she gets she has the right to challenge Asuka whenever she wants? Um, if not, again, they're missing a powerhouse. So I feel like Raquel will be added. Some people have said they think Trish might be added. I'm like,
I mean,
I don't know. I was like, I don't know if Trish wants to work ladder matches at this
right,
stage in her life.
right. I was saying if
Uh,
I maybe if it was like maybe a chamber match or something else. I don't know if it was because of the ladders. I wouldn't put Trish in this type of like
you don't want to risk getting her
environment. Yeah,
injured, especially
correct.
if you have her, especially since you want to have her on regularly now. I wouldn't put her in a ladder match, just because you don't want to risk injury. However, this can go a million different ways. It really
Yeah,
depends on, to me, what happens with Asuka versus Charlotte. I do believe Bianca will DQ somebody, or at least try, but
right.
Asuka will end up retaining regardless. So it's just, where does this go from here? Is it leading to a triple threat at Money in the Bank? Is it
Hmm.
leading to a triple threat at SummerSlam? We don't know. So we gotta kind of stay tuned to watch. But um, so anyway, Charlotte came out. She wants a match. They got a match. They set it for the night before Money in the Bank at SmackDown. Bianca is pissed. So that's kind of where that's at right now.
Hmm.
Also on that SmackDown, we had Bailey versus Michin for a Money in the Bank qualifying match. I kind of already gave it away. Bailey did pick up the win. Um, it was kind of a quick match. It was a
It
good
really
little quick
was.
match, though. They actually have some chemistry, so I'd like to actually see them do more together. Um,
Meechin
but
is
it
good.
was
Don't give her enough time to shine. I feel like
agreed.
I feel like it's like she's more there to like, either like take the L's or like be in there last minute. Like, but she can wrestle. Like, give her the time to shine and do her thing. I feel like she's kind of got to wait because there's more other girls that are just like in the
Yeah,
forefront. But I feel like I mean, they don't let her talk a lot too. So you don't know that side mainly. But I feel like
yeah,
the wrestling side is very, very good. And if you let her shine, she would be really, really good.
yeah. I mean, again, her and Bailey actually had a good quick match. And again, um, they do have some chemistry, so I'd like to see that another time in the future time if they want to feud the two of them. But Bailey did pick up the win. She did qualify for the Money in the Bank match. We also had Io versus Shotzi later that night.
Hmm.
Um, Io did win, but important to note, with the help of Bailey. Um, could have Io have done it by herself? Probably.
Probably.
But I think the narrative here is that Bailey wants to say, "You need my help to win,"
You needed
right?
me, yep, or I
Um,
helped you win.
Bailey did not need Io's help to win, though. So
Right.
that's kind of one of those things where she can tout as they grow this friction between the two of them. Um, it's clearly they're clearly doing it this way for a reason.
Right.
And I think Bailey versus Io will actually be a lot of fun here. Whenever it does actually happen, clearly them being in the Money in the Bank match together, I think is going to cause some issues. Whether it
Definitely.
be Io on the ladder about to get the briefcase, and Bailey running up saying, "No, let me get it," whatever, and Io doesn't let her. Whatever it is, like, there's going to be some issues between the two of them in this match. So whether they cause one another to lose, whether one of them wins and tout it in front of the other person, like we had talked about on In the Weeds, Bailey
Yes.
possibly winning it.
Mhm.
Um, because we mentioned as well that
Keep
they keep
mentioning,
mentioning
yep.
uh no woman's ever failed her cash in. No woman's ever failed her cash in. So it's like, what if Bailey does win it, does
She
try and
won't.
cash in, and Io
Mhm.
causes her to lose? It's just one of those things where it's like,
It's
how
layers.
do
You
you
could pull it
further
back.
this
Yeah.
storyline?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and again, hopefully Bailey can hold that briefcase for a while if she does win it.
Yep.
Because every woman's cash in except for Carmella's was done within 24 hours. So let's try and hold
Right.
on to it for like
Let's try
48
to hold
hours.
on. Mhm. No,
I don't
longer than
know.
that.
I'm
Like,
just
let's
kidding.
have
I'm minimum, minimum 48 hours, please. I just
I
like a
feel like
month,
they treat the
too
women
much.
differently with the men. Like, it's more so like the men carry it around longer. The women have
I
to
have to
keep
be
it
honest though,
within
Chrissy, the men haven't done very well with like when Otis won, boring. When what's his name? A Town
theory.
Down
Oh,
Theory,
theory. Mhm.
boring. Like, I'm like,
Well,
It
no,
went
men.
nowhere. It was dumb. It was dumb.
I feel
Both of
like
those were dumb.
I feel like Austin's was better than Otis, but Otis was
Yes.
just like pandemic time. It was just, I don't think they took it really serious, to be honest. Because then
I
they
don't
had
think so either.
gave the Money in the Bank briefcase away again in another match, and then I think who got it? Was it the Miz? Anywho, it
The
just
Miz.
I feel like what I'm trying to say is like they give the guys more of a like long drawn out story, when then the women they make them like do it like, okay, you do it right now, or you gonna do it tomorrow. Like there's no
And it
like,
gets a huge pop and reaction,
it
and
does, but it's
which
just
I'm
like,
glad for, but it's like, let's make a
okay,
story out of it. Like, let
like
them
let's
hold it.
make someone like hold it, and like let's do something with it now. Like let's make it like mean something at first or whatever. Like,
Yeah. So so Io won, Bailey won, so they are in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. So like we mentioned earlier, they are missing one more competitor. They have not announced any further qualifying matches. So I am very curious as to who that last spot will go to, which is
mhm,
why my theory of it being Bianca is very possible. But it could also be Raquel, possibly. I don't know. Also on SmackDown, the Unholy Union came out, the NXT Women's Champions. I'm sorry, NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
yes,
Came out, who I absolutely love. I love Isla Dawn
I
and
done,
Alba
and
Fire. Um,
who would have thought that they would have been
they're
such
doing
a
so
great
well
tag
already
team?
to me
Yes. Oh
on
my
main
god, I think
roster.
they're
Like,
amazing on SmackDown.
they have great
Um,
ring presence,
yes.
and they were out there. Ronda and Shayna came out with their fast walk. Like I mentioned it, Miss Krssi a little earlier before we start recording. I thought Ronda looked amazing. This is the first this is the first time it looked like she wasn't trying too hard with the eye makeup and all this shit. And that, to me, she actually looked really good. Um but they came out, they attacked them. I forgot, I don't remember what they said, but basically they challenged them. Shayna's like, those titles were made for me and blah blah blah, and they challenged them to a title unification match. So it sounds like they are unifying the women's tag team titles, which
To go back and forth
I'm
on all the
perfectly
brand.
fine with, as long
Yeah,
as whoever has them
it's credible and
does
it's
go to
great.
NXT regularly, because I'm like, they need to be defended down there and on main roster, or you need to bring up the NXT tag teams to the main roster show or pay-per-views as they can defend them. Whatever it might be, however they plan on doing it, just make sure the NXT women's tag teams stay involved, because there are a good amount of them. Well, I guess not anymore.
No, not yeah. I'm about to say it's not that many of them. No.
Because there's a couple. But so we'll see. But they are having a NXT, I'm sorry, a women's tag team title unification match. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's a lot to say. Um, I think they announced it in 2 weeks.
Yes.
I want to
After it's
say.
bless you.
Excuse me.
It's
I
weird how they're doing this. I guess they need a build up. So I guess they're gonna like have the two teams like interact or mix or whatever. But it's something where, one, I don't like the fact that that they're treating Shayna Baszler as like Ronda's like lapdog. Like she's like coming out to Ronda's music. Like I feel like she's being second fiddle, when clearly Shayna is really, really good. Like Shayna can probably teach Ronda a few damn things.
Well,
Like
yeah. Shayna's the
she's
better wrestler out of the two of them.
I
She did
feel
do
like
all the talking for the most part on the
yeah,
last week. They actually let her talk
yeah.
instead of Ronda. Well, Ronda did talk as well, but after Shayna. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm fine with this because, again, there's minimal women's tag teams as it is between main roster and NXT. I'm actually completely fine with them unifying them. Again, as long as they're being defended everywhere.
Well, yeah,
Everywhere.
that's fine. I get, but again,
I am
the,
a little upset because I do not expect Alba Fire and Isla Dawn to win, and I actually don't want them
right.
losing
I
because I
don't want
fucking
them to
love them.
lose. Yeah,
But
I feel like
unfortunately, we already know Ronda's gonna get her way and win and whatever. So it
I feel
is
like it
what it
might be
is.
like I, I would hope. I'm gonna say this. I would hope we would get surprised and have Alba and them win, because they can go back and forth to NXT. and go on the other brands. I feel like they would be the better of the two, but hey, I
I
could.
hope so, but I would be pleasantly surprised if Alba and Isla win. Pleasantly surprised because I just don't. I see them having Ronda drop a title because it's Ronda. So we'll see. And that was it for SmackDown.
SmackDown. Mm-hmm.
Um, Raw. We have the other women's champion, the SmackDown women's champion, Rhea Ripley, who actually kicked off the show, come out,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam Pearce came out to present her with a new women's championship. So Asuka is the WWE Women's Champion,
Mm-hmm.
and Rhea's is the WWE World Women's Champion,
World women's, yeah, because it's
Women's
not
World Champion,
heavyweight, so yes, world women's.
World
Um,
Women's Champion. Beautiful belt, beautiful belt, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Looks
The
just like
white strap,
Seth.
the white strap makes it
But with
pop
the white
so
strap,
beautifully.
it makes it pop
Oscar's
wonderfully. Oscar's looks
Oscar's
like
belt
Roman's and it's deep
is,
fried with a white strap. So
yeah. We don't like Oscars, unfortunately, but
we
you need
talked
something
about
for
it
branding. We
on in
talked
the
about it
weeds
on
as
the Weeds.
well.
Yes. You need something for branding.
Again, as a marketing person, I understand. I understand why
So
they keep the gigantic W.
I have to take my
However,
information. Yeah, I
you
have to
could
take
still
my,
make the belt look a little different. They like
yeah.
just used a copy and paste. Look right here above my head is
Yep,
the
of that.
SmackDown one. It looks
Yeah.
exactly like that, except it's all
Just
gold in the middle
hmm
with the white strap, and they have what, white diamonds, I think.
Yep.
That's all they did. It's a carbon copy of what they already had, and I'm just like, at least do something different besides the colors. Like, design it a little differently too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so plain. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my women's championship belts, but when you bring out a new championship belt,
You're
I
expecting
expected
something
for it to look overall different,
new.
not just the
You.
colors.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, more so,
They invested all their money in the
let's
other
talk
belt, so they
about
was like,
how
this one.
Triple H presented the titles to Seth and Roman,
Oh,
but the women get, no disrespect, sir, love you so much, Adam Pearce. Why can't Triple H present the women with their world titles? I guess I'm confused. Because Adam Pearce, again, love you, sir, no disrespect. Adam Pearce, Triple H,
not even
as
on the
far as
same level.
hierarchy goes in that company,
Not the same level
why
at all.
wouldn't you have Triple H also present the women with their titles?
It's something
A little
that's
weird.
just, yeah. It's something where I feel like it's like favoritism almost, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, why you always like going after my brothers and you never do anything for us? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's
To me, it
something
told
where,
me where, I'm sorry, I hate to make this assumption, and I'm not saying that Paul Levesque does not give a shit about the women's division, because he does. He just doesn't give as many shits about the women's division as he does the men's. And that's what it told me. I'm sorry. I was like, if you can't come out and present the women with their titles,
mind you,
but you can do it for the men, why not?
you've
They're
like
brand new titles. They matter. They're world champions. Why can't you come out with them? It was just weird to me.
more so, even like
Made it
even
feel
like
less important.
it made it feel very less important. Like, even like the presentation of it all, it wasn't like bells and like it wasn't. It was just very like bland sandwich. Like, Paul should have been there for us, for the fact that you watch these girls from NXT. Even Rhea was from the NXT UK. She came over here, then
Yeah.
dominated, and you watch her. You kind of like watch her blossom as this flower. You watch both these girls blossom. They're both NXT former champions, and they blossom to these flowers. They blossom to this stuff, and look where they are now. And you couldn't have the time, 5 minutes, to do what you could have done when you did it for the guys. And I know you're
Right.
there. You're clearly back there. It would have made more sense if even Stephanie would have gave the belts. I wouldn't even be mad if Stephanie just came out and you say, you know what? Steph, you were an advocate for the women's division. Why don't
Correct.
you come back?
Like, do you
And
know
I
how
think
big of a surprise that would have been for
that
everybody
would have right, and
to
I think
see
it would have
Stephanie
meant
McMahon
some
come
more.
out, even though she's not part of that company in that way anymore, but
But
just be
still,
like, I'm so proud of
no,
you guys. I
right,
wanted to come do this.
right,
Like,
right. I had no choice but to give this to you guys because you guys deserve it. You guys has been like putting your foot, like it would have meant more from
yeah,
from Stephanie than Adam Pierce. Like, is there was no like meaning. It felt meaningless. Like it felt pointless. Like it was just like, okay, here you go. Like you could have gave it to me in the back then.
right, right. And then with Rhea's,
No effort.
before he could even put it on, guess who jumps in the ring to actually do the honors?
Dom.
Dominic Mysterio. Boo.
Ugh, he is getting so much heat right now. Oh
He is
man.
getting so much heat. That kid can't even touch the mic without getting booed out that building. Look, Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
So on SmackDown, when Asuka got her new title, Charlotte Flair came out to challenge her.
Yep.
Bianca's in the back, biting at the bit to kick her ass. Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio comes out. Cody Rhodes comes out. Judgment Day comes out. Where the fuck are the women?
Yep.
Where are the women? Cody Rhodes? And then not only does Cody Rhodes come out, he doesn't even acknowledge what's going on in the ring. Like, I would
Right.
have been okay if Cody Rhodes had said, Rhea, congratulations, beautiful new title, blah, blah, like, very important to the
Right.
women's, like,
Mm-hmm.
hype it up a little bit. But they went straight into the men's shit. And I'm like, Rhea
Disrespectful.
is the women's division world champion, and she's not addressing any women in the women's division. Now, do not get me wrong. I absolutely love that Rhea has the range to be involved in men's stories and to interact with the men and still look dominant. I love that she can do that. But she should also be creating feuds with the
With the other
women.
women. Yep.
And I'm just like, I'm not saying I needed exactly what happened with Asuka on SmackDown that happened to Rhea where someone comes out, but why isn't
But
she
make it feel.
cutting a promo, cutting
Mm-hmm.
a promo
Mm-hmm.
on the locker room saying, like, I have a new
Nobody wants
title.
to.
If you want
Mm-hmm.
it, come get it. Like, she didn't even do that.
Nope.
Like, I'm just like, the women's title, the women's world title right now to me is taking a backseat to the men's storylines because Rhea is involved with the men. And I'm like, again, I don't have a problem with her being involved with the men, but she should also be doing stuff with the women. Raw is a 3-hour show. There is no reason why Rhea cannot do 2 different segments, one involving women, one involving
One by
Judgment
the
Day
men.
and
Yep.
Dominic Mysterio. There's no reason why she can't be involved in all of that. She has the power, she has the range, she has the talent to do so.
Yep.
It is frustrating because I'm like, she's not going against anybody at Money in the Bank. Probably not at this point. She's not
No.
building for SummerSlam. Right now, she's not. Like, it's
Right.
just,
No.
I don't understand. Anyway, also on Raw,
We're tired.
right
That's what
after,
it is. We're tired of this. Tired.
tired. Um, Also on Raw, right after Rhea presentation, Becky Lynch and Chelsea Green had a one-on-one match.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea being pissed from last week, Becky attacked her unprovoked. I love Chelsea Green.
She's
Unprovoked, okay? Not that she was like getting in Becky's face the whole goddamn match against Sonya, but unprovoked. And
it's a
so
great
they had a
impression, by the
one-on-one
way.
match.
You did very. I said it's a great impression, by the way. Very,
Thank
very
you.
well. Spot on,
I
friend.
practice. And so they had a one-on-one match. But Becky came out right after Becky. Zoe Stark comes out. And she's been talking shit up the ramp, and she's like, you're not gonna win. You fell all the time. Whatever. Not with me and Trish around. Whatever. And Becky then does the Becky thing, hypes her up like, Zoe, strong, you're amazing, you're one of the best wrestlers that came up from NXT, blah blah blah. And she's like, but you lack a fucking personality. And I'm like,
Mhm.
wow. She built her up and then dragged her ass, and I was like, well,
Mhm.
classic
There goes
Becky
that.
promo.
Yep.
Uh, and Zoe was like, I have a personality. No. It was just really funny. She didn't know what to say. But she basically said, why don't you just go ahead and take a seat and watch, I'll show you why I'm famous. I think is what she said. I'll show you why I'm
Yep.
famous or whatever. And Chelsea Green comes out and they have their match or whatever. Becky gets the pin with the disarmer. Zoe Stark did not interfere. She's just watching from afar. And Becky's talking shit from the ring, and they show her and Zoe just kind of popping off, and it goes off. My first guess for Money in the Bank was Becky winning, just because she could do an amazing story with the briefcase, and that's what we want. We want a long-term story with this briefcase, and I think Becky could do that to get to Rhea eventually, which is I know where they're probably headed here, possibly for Mania. I don't know. It depends. If they want to do Rhea versus Bianca for Mania, then they have to do Becky and Rhea and Charlotte and Bianca
Yep.
sooner,
Yep.
probably at SummerSlam. But if Becky's still tied up with Trish in them for SummerSlam, which would be my guess, I don't know when you do Becky and Rhea. It has to be Mania or Royal Rumble, maybe. I don't know.
I
Either
mean,
way,
it's
we'll
many
see.
possibilities. Like, it's definitely something that can just be like steps to it. It doesn't have to like
Yes,
happen all the way because we have like they're all four powerhouses. So I feel like
yeah,
it can happen. Like you can do these two, then you can do this, just these two. Then
yeah.
we could do a three. Then we could just do three. Then we can insert
What do we
another the
have
fourth
after SummerSlam? It's Survivor Series, and then that's it, right? To Royal Rumble.
one.
They might have one more Saudi pay per view.
Is it TLC? No, TLC is we've had that
TLC's
already, right?
gone. Yeah,
They did okay, so
they don't do day one. They did day one that one time, and that was it.
mhm.
I think
um
that's it. It's Survivor Series, and then you have like that break until Royal Rumble. So
which is I'm fine with that. That's
I'm fine with
okay.
it too.
I'm
I'm
feeling
fine with that.
listen, because once
Um.
you start saturating with too
Anyway,
many
my guess is for
pay-per-views,
Money in the
it
Bank.
gets overwhelming.
True. I'm like, so at one point they had a fucking pay per view every fucking month. I'm like, look.
Every 3 weeks is like, come on, y'all gotta like stop this. Like there's and then the stories didn't make sense at all. Like oh my god, I hated that
Well, and they
time.
would like rush them because like you only had like 3 weeks of build, so you had to like rush the feud. And I'm like, why are we? No, let's make this mean something. It's weird because if WWE has too much time, if they can really drag out a feud too long, and if they have little time, they rush it, and it's like if you have like a good 4 or 5 weeks, they do really well with that. And I'm like, let's keep it there. Anyway, my guesses for Money in the Bank were either Becky or Io or Bailey. I
Mhm.
just didn't know which one of Damage Control it would be. We talked about as Becky is wrapped up with Trish and Zoe, and we're assuming one of them are going to cause her to lose. It probably won't be Becky, so I'm assuming
It'll
Bailey or
definitely
Io.
yep.
But it also depends on the last woman that they add to this match, which we don't know who that is yet. So I guess we'll see.
Yep. I'm excited. I can't wait for
What
it.
else happened on
When is
Raw for
Money in the
Women?
Bank
Was
again?
that it?
That was for Raw, yes.
Money in the Bank is July 1st.
Oh, that's right around the corner
So
then for
2 weeks,
it's coming.
3 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. It's literally
Um,
like right there.
yeah. So I think that was it for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Becky versus Chelsea. I think that was it. I don't know if you saw
Can I see?
Maxine Dupree
Oh, Dupree, yeah,
in
she's
her
with the Alpha
in her little Alpha Academy outfit.
outfit.
It was really
I
cute.
mean, I like the fact that she's with them, but I kind of feel like they're losing the Alpha Academy stitch, if that makes sense.
Frozen? I think you're frozen.
Okay, am
Well,
I
they're
frozen?
losing
Okay.
what?
Okay, so I said I like that she's with Alpha Academy, but I feel like Alpha Academy is losing their stitch a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yes. Like I just need them to get some direction.
Right. And
Like
I
if you're
feel
adding
like
her, okay, let's add her and now let's get a direction for them. Because I'm like, what are we doing?
Or
Like,
split them up and let Chad Cable just do what Chad Gable is supposed to do, because I
yes.
feel like that's holding him back.
Well, I liked
Sorry.
when they had their little segments and he'd do the promos and like it was hilarious.
Yeah,
Like I'm
that's what
like,
I'm saying. Like let him do what
why aren't we
he's
doing that? I'm just saying.
and he's like, thank
Um,
you. Like
I
it's
think
just
that was
not
it for
working.
the women on SmackDown or Raw. I don't
Raw.
remember y'all, and I
It
apologize
is.
if
I
I'm
believe
forgetting
that
somebody.
was it. That was it.
Rhea not being involved with the women's division, and Becky and Zoe and Chelsea.
Hmm.
Um, did
Yeah.
Nikki Cross do something? I don't remember. I don't remember y'all. It's fun. It probably wasn't that important or
Hmm.
impactful if I'm forgetting. NXT. um, on NXT we had Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley.
Hmm.
Uh, which Roxanne did win. It was a pretty quick match. Um, Roxanne is just really good at wrestling, y'all. She did cut a promo on Blair
Hmm.
Davenport after the match. Um, the mic is still probably her weakest point. But it was a little different. It was a little more intense on this promo of hers.
Like
A little
you
something
can see that
different
she's
that we haven't
trying,
seen
and
from
look,
her. She
yeah,
is trying.
she's
Yes.
trying, and I feel like there's a lot of girls that are on there that's trying to like, they're on NXT because they have to work in their mic skills, their presentation. Like, why
Hmm.
should we like you? Like, why should we
And the character. Yep.
in the character? Why should we root for you? Like, what is your character? What is the basis of your character?
Yeah.
What are you? What is it? So I feel
Yeah.
like she's still trying to like
Figure that out.
figure and play
Hmm.
around, which is fine because this is where you're supposed to do that before you go to the big leagues.
Yes.
So figure it out. Like wrestling, you have underneath your belt. It's perfect. You got to
Yep.
get your characterization together. Presentation.
Figure it out and perfect
Fig-
it.
and perfect. There we go. That's it.
So she did call out Blair Davenport. Blair has not answered yet. I guess we'll find that out. Um, Cora Jade versus Thea Hell. So Thea Hell is the number one contender for
She won
the
their
NXT Women's
battle royal.
Championship with Tiffany Stratton. But Cora Jade was like, "Oh hell no,
Right.
it's my time. It's the generation of Jade." And so she called out Thea Hell, and so they did have a match. Um, Thea Hell did win with the help of Dana Brooke.
Hmm.
That's right, Miss Dana Brooke from main roster.
So is they treating
And
her
they
as a
actually
free agent as
did a
well?
whole video package. They did a whole video package for Dana Brooke on NXT.
Yes.
And Dana Brooke is going after Cora Jade. So I'm assuming they're going to be feuding mostly the two of them while Thea Hill's off fighting Tiffany Stratton.
That's
Um,
fine.
which is fine with me. What do you think of Dana being back at NXT?
Um, that's fine. I'm here. It's okay. You need someone to help like get these girls and develop things. I mean, not saying that Dana is like the best of the best, but get someone quote unquote like veteran or older generation with these newer younger generation of girls
Yep.
and kind of like whip them
Put
or
them
like
over.
put them right. It does. Dana Brooke getting the L's does not hurt her at all.
She gets L's on all the time. It
That's
is
I
what
mean
it is. Like
that's what she does. Like let's look at the resume. It's fine.
correct.
Dana's just there. She's an anchor. Like she's supposed to be an anchor to like help push people over.
Absolutely.
Sad to
Um, Thea Hell did pick up the win, like I said, with the help of Dana Brooke.
Yep.
Um, so it will be Thea Hell versus Tiffany Stratton for in 2 weeks at NXT Gold Rush. Um, and someone pointed out that it is important now. So Tiffany is champion.
Hmm.
Tiffany now has to, as champion, learn how to build someone up in a match, make them look
Mm,
good while beating them,
yep.
which is something every champion has
To
to
develop.
figure out
Hmm.
and develop. Um if it's going to be a squash, you got to make that person look great in the squash, right? Um so I'm very interested to see how Tiffany does now as champion against somebody who is kind of still developing, if you will, up and coming. And see, she has to help her look good in the ring in defeat. So no one's expecting Thea Hell to win, obviously.
Right.
But it's more everyone's watching Tiffany to see how she puts this young lady over um in defeat. So
and
that
still
is her
defeat her at the
task.
same time. Yep.
Yes.
Tiffy can do it. She
Um
just get give her a couple, give her a few more. She's good at wrestling. She can probably do that. She just again working on promo and talking. That's just where everyone's. I feel like
absolutely.
is everyone has like a C right now.
Yes, I
So
agree. I agree. Um that's pretty much it for NXT. I mean, there were some other women sprinkled throughout. Electra Lopez, talking to I forgot her name. Laura, whatever her name is, in the back. Um, Gigi Dolan
mhm.
talking to Fallon Henley in the back. Like, just they're kind of sprinkled throughout. But as far as major things go, the matches and stuff, we have covered those. Um, and then Dynamite. What happened on Dynamite, Miss Krssi?
So on Dynamite, we have our women's champion, Miss Tony Storm. She went against Miss Sky Blue.
Ooh.
And yeah, and for a minute, you kind of thought that Sky Blue could have won this match because, of course, Tony Storm and the girls always use spray paint as their form of like
Yeah.
interfering and getting into the girls' eyes. But Miss Sky Blue one upped on them and did it to Tony. And it was almost
Oh,
where like she almost got the 3 count, and it was this close where you almost like, oh my god, give her a taste of her own innocence.
2.9999.
999 seconds. Yes, exactly. Like it was like really like I mean like Tony like
Woo.
barely got her like arm up, and it was really really good. So then Ruby comes and interferes, and then we have our favorite, our girl, Miss Willow.
Uh-huh.
She comes
Uh-huh.
out for the save to help our girl, Miss Sky Blue. But of course, Tony
Nice.
did win the match with help from Miss Ruby. But overall, I think they're kind of teasing something that it may happen with Tony and Willow, maybe
Okay.
Forbidden Door or maybe on Collision. I'm not sure, but they're you know pushing the two where they might like interact them together, which is perfectly fine. We are Willow stands. Miss Tony Storm
Absolutely.
is amazing too, so I
She
wouldn't be
is.
mad at those two going at it and like doing
It would be
something.
actually, that would be an amazing match. I would
Right,
have
that's
to
what
watch that live.
I'm.
That would be an
Listen,
amazing match. Oh my god.
those two girls, if you let them go, give them like 10-15 minutes, I'm sure they will bring it down.
Absolutely. I would have to watch that one live because that
So
would be absolutely amazing.
but yeah, that
Um,
was overall for the women's side.
Jade
On
Cargill on vacation, is that correct?
Jade is on vacation. I saw some pictures of her on
She's
Instagram
taken
looking
Did you see
amazing.
that? She looks,
Oh
of
my
course,
god.
amazing, in her little bathing suit on, like, a
And her
beach. I'm
little
like,
bit
"Oh, excuse me, ma'am."
at first I had to look and see like, wait, is that Jade? Because she didn't look like her regular, she didn't
Yeah.
how you look when you're
She didn't
not
have
at
all
work.
the glam. She didn't I think she had
Correct.
her natural color hair.
She had her natural color
Um,
hair, which I think
yeah.
is like black or so, whatever. But she
She
just
looks she
like
looks relaxed,
relaxed and like you just needed a
chilling.
debrief and just like
I
like
understand. 60
yeah.
and 1, girl. I understand, like, she's
You've been
like, "I need a
going at this a long
vacation."
time. Yep, you need a vacation from the vacation. Yep, like
That's funny. Yeah, no, good for her. I'm glad she's on vacay. Anything with
so the team.
Saraya going on or any of that?
Soraya was not with the girls this time. I'm not sure what's happening with her. Well, she did have the feud with Adam Cole and Britt and Jericho a few weeks
Right.
back. So that's that. So nothing happened with her from this week. I think they're kind of like waiting and like trying to like see what they can do for her when they go back to their London show as well, because they're gonna go to London.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in August. No,
Hometown.
like yes. So they're gonna
Yes.
probably like do something with her. Right now, it's still like Tony and Ruby just like going out and doing things. But once they
What
do
about
like
Chris Statlander, the new TNT champion?
she's going to be on their Collision show coming up.
Oh, okay. Is that this
Yes,
Saturday?
that's this Saturday coming up.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, yesterday. Again, this is pre-recorded,
Tomorrow.
folks. It's Friday morning. But you won't see this
And
till
yeah,
Sunday.
so she's gonna be on Rampage tonight.
Okay.
Of course it's Friday, of course, so we'll talk about it when we see you guys again. Um,
Okay.
but yes, Chris Statlander is like she had a match last week with Nyla Rose, which was great.
Oh, yes. Yes. I
So,
actually did see highlights from
we're
that.
going back from last week. That was a great match. I
Everyone's
think
first child defense against Nyla.
very exactly. And did they close out the show? I think she closed the show. I think they were like the main event.
The main event. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So close to the main event. But yes, overall, very good show for the women. I guess they're trying to just like build up. They're more so building a lot of the men's matches, of course, because there's more men for Forbidden Door and whatnot. But the women have to have a match too. So let's just like get in there and like figure it out or whatever. I mean, this is where we probably would
Not
have
gonna
gotten
say
Mercedes.
anything.
We probably would have got Mercedes, but Mercedes is injured right
Correct.
now. So
That is correct. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself about AEW's women's division. Look, I criticize WWE's too. It's just
listen, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay, honey.
AEW is a little worse. But
They're
I'm not talking about the
working.
talent. I'm talking about the booking,
Yes.
y'all. The booking, not the talent. I guess we'll see. The only other thing to talk about is obviously Impact that happened last night.
Yep.
Hashtag Trendpact. There was actually kind of a mixed, I guess mixed tag, if you will,
like a 5-on-5 mix. Yep.
At the beginning of the show, all these people came out and they were like all interrupting each other. It was like a whole thing. But it was the Motor City Machine Guns, Deonna Purrazzo, Trinity, and Nick Aldis versus Trey Miguel, Kenny King, Sheldon Jean, Giselle Shaw, and Savannah Evans.
So many people. But what a fun and great match.
It was actually a lot of fun. I did see this. I didn't see it live. I had to watch it, not live because it's taped. You know what I mean? I didn't watch it during the time that everyone else was watching it. I didn't watch it like an hour or two later. But
overall
fun match.
I can say about watching Impact like for the last 2 weeks back to back. One, I have to learn.
And bless you, by the way. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem. One, you have to like understand and see how their show flows. They do a lot of like opening segments and talking, and a lot of people come out, and I feel like it kind of like prolongs or like drags it. But then once you see the wrestling start happening, then it start moving, and you're like, oh my god, the show's almost over.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
it goes very quickly. It goes very quickly.
I was like, oh wait, the show is almost over. I was like, it's almost 10. I was like, what's happening? Like, because you had like is because they did have some in-ring promos and segments, and then it feels like if the crowd is not into it, it kind of like makes everything go like it feels boring or like dead. But once and then I have to learn who people are and their characters and things like that. I know them, but I don't know them, if that makes sense.
No, that's exactly where I am with Impact.
Okay.
Kind of start watching it. I wouldn't say consistently, but I started watching it probably like 5 or 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I catch it here and there, and
right, exactly.
watch it or whatever, just trying to see like what they're doing, because Impact does a great job consistently booking their women. Their women are consistently on the show, and it's typically several different storylines going on.
Yep.
And I appreciate that about them. Now, I am a mother, and I have a full-time job, and so I cannot always catch everything all the time, but if I was able to, I would. And so I have tried to make sure that I continue to watch Impact and support the women on there, because again, Impact does a great job about consistently booking their women.
Yes.
And then of course, finding out when that Trinity was on Impact, I was like, well, now I really got to make sure I support them and her. And she's doing a fantastic job. And you can tell, I think we talked about, she still gets a little nervous on the mic here and there. But she's just an amazing performer. Yeah. They are treating her like a top star. And I love that for her. Because I'll be honest, it was probably never going to happen in WWE for her, as far as being a top star. It just wasn't. And that's okay. That's okay. One thing, I don't know if you guys ever saw, and I always want to talk about this, but I know like fan groups will get pissed. But if you ever watch Fighting, did you watch Fighting with My Family?
Yes, of course.
Saraya's story.
Yes.
There's a part in there with Vince Vaughn, and he talks to her brother about being like He's like, you will never be the guy. He's like,
Right.
there's people who are the guy, and there's people that put over the
The
guy.
guy. Yep.
Um, there are people who are not meant to be top stars. There are people who are meant to be the fall guy, or make the guy look good,
It's
right?
good. Yep.
And ever since seeing that, I literally think of wrestling a little differently, especially when I see people popping off about it's their time. Why aren't you giving them a shot? It's their time. And I'm like, in my head, of course, this is my opinion. I'm watching it and I'm going, this person's not the guy or the woman, right? Dana Brooke, I love her to death, but Dana Brooke is
It's
never
not.
going to be the woman, guys.
Natty will never be the
Natty,
woman.
who is as established, as prominent, as great as she is, and you guys know I love me some Natty, but she will never be the woman.
Yep.
And I can come to terms with the fact that Trinity was never going to be the woman in WWE. She just was not. As talented and as amazing as I think she is, this goes for Natty as well. They are never going to be the woman in WWE. And that's okay.
Yep.
I respect what they do for the people who are the women in WWE. I respect what they do for younger talent. I respect what Natty does every time she steps in that ring for somebody else. Natty doesn't need to prove anything, in my opinion. She's an
Definitely does not have to
amazing
prove
wrestler.
anything. Yeah, she's
She's an
already
amazing
established. Like she's
anchor.
done.
She
She's won belts already. Like she does not need. She honestly, this is like
Natty is a Hall of Famer already. They could put
Natty's.
her in the Hall of Fame as an active wrestler at this point. Natty has proven doesn't need to prove anything else to anybody, but she will
She does
never
not.
be the woman, and that's okay. Trinity was never going to be that. I'm sorry, Naomi was never going to be that in WWE.
No matter how many great matches she had given us, even the banger she did with Charlotte, which was one of my favorites of hers, I feel
Yep.
like you would never probably get the same energy for her that you would give like Charlotte or Becky, even Bailey.
Yeah. And again, that's okay. Trinity and Impact is a whole different story, in my opinion. She can be the woman there. She has the star power and presence to be the woman there. And I think part of Trinity probably realized that, to be honest. And that's okay. They treat her like a star over there. You know, she's taking him to mainstream shows like the Sherry Shepherd show. Like, and she was never going to possibly get that with WWE. And I appreciate that she's able to do this on this platform as a top star now. So, just ask yourself, even if they're your favorites, is your favorite the woman or the man? Whoever it might be, not the man.
The man.
That's Becky. But you know what I mean. The guy is your favorite the guy, right? He may not be or she may not be, but continue to support them and hype them and support what they do in that ring for other people. I know how badly people want their faves to be the person. You guys have to remember, I've been a Becky Lynch fan for a very long time. And at the time, Becky was not the woman.
She was never.
And I knew she wasn't. Okay. But Becky had to do something to change that trajectory. That's why people respect her so much, is because she was not the woman. She was not that person. And she had to say, fuck all that. I'm going to be. And she did something different and changed it. And very few people have done that in their careers. And very few things have laid out the way they have for that to happen. So it's a rarity for that to happen. And as a Becky Lynch fan, I think we understand that. So it's one of those things where it's like, support your faves, be there for them, hype them up, but you cannot get mad if they're not getting pushed at that moment. They might not ever get pushed. They may get pushed eventually, but again, they have to show something different to get past that. You brought up Meechin. She's another one.
Yep.
She is
She's
not the
not gonna
woman
be. Yep. Mm-hmm.
unless she changes something or does something different. Right now, she's a great wrestler. I fucking love her. I love her look. I think she's amazing. But I also understand that she is not the woman, especially
Yep.
at least not right now. There's other women
At
ahead of
least not
her.
right now.
Well, I'm just saying there's other women ahead of her. And again, that is okay. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that eventually uh some of that changes or they do something different, but it is what it is. But I'm just saying, if ever since seeing that fighting with your family and that particular topic with Vince Vaughn and Soraya's brother, um, it made me look at things differently and how even WWE may look at people differently. Like,
Right. Yep.
yeah, you're good, but are you the woman or
Mm-hmm.
the guy? Yeah, and I was like, wow, like I didn't even think about it that way,
Right.
Um,
That's actually
so
a really good
anyway,
point. Thanks for sharing that because that does make a lot of sense. You have to be realistic and like know the superstars and know that some of these people are not going to be the face of the company, but they will show out and show up and do everything like they always do, like anyone else does for their jobs, you know?
yeah,
So yeah, I get it. I understand that. And that's
one
a
perfect
really good
example of a person
point.
who knows that and relishes in it is Dolph Ziggler.
You know what?
Dolph Ziggler knows he is not the guy,
But he's
but
won the
that man
championship and he's
shows
won.
the fuck out
Yeah,
for
that's
every
true.
single person he steps in the ring with. He makes them look good. He sells his ass off for
That's
them,
true. You're right. You're
and
right.
he gets his money. And he goes and does his what is it, stand-up comedy he does on the side. Like
Yes.
he is living, all right? And
Yeah,
to
he's not
me,
worried about this.
he's not worried at all. And I love and appreciate that about him. Um, but anyway, sorry, that was my random rant of the show. But I just see people all the time like, why aren't you pushing so and so? And why aren't you number one, you go and push somebody all the time, y'all. There's
Right.
only so
It's
many
just
championships.
and as you
Like
see, they're consolidating a lot of them now, so we ain't got that many to pick from.
consolidated or don't know how to book them. Like Rhea's not
That
even
too.
in the women's division right now. Like just everyone chill. Is what I'm trying to say. Either they're gonna push them or they're not, and it's gonna be okay.
Yep.
That's all we had for our show today. Again, happy Father's Day to all the
Happy
dads out there.
Father's
I hope you
Day.
have an amazing, relaxing, fun, whatever you decide to do today, day.
Keep up the
And Miss
good work,
Krssi,
guys.
yes,
Keep up.
keep taking care of
You
them
guys
babies.
matter. Yes, you
Uh,
guys matter. We appreciate you and
um,
we love you, and you guys do matter to us, even if you're not told it enough. We appreciate you,
yes,
and just keep doing what you know, leading these children and being the like figures that they need to look up to, because we need them. We
absolutely,
need you. So have a
absolutely,
fantastic day and be pampered as you should be for being a
yes.
great dad.
Miss Krssi, where can the people find you when you're not on this show?
When I am not on this show, check us out. We were on In the Weeds. What was that? Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Yep.
We was on In the Weeds with SP and Joe from Fightful Overbook. So watch us on there. Go back and rewatch that. Give it a thumbs up. We had a fun time speaking women's wrestling. Um, Other than that, you can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. It's Krssi Love _1 or just Miss Krssi Love. And Twitter is True Hill Krssi Love. And my tag partner, I'm gonna put it to you. Where can we find you, friend?
You forgot one. You can
Which
catch
one?
Miss
Oh,
Krssi on her flagship show,
our
on
flagship
the
show.
True Hill
Yes,
Heat flagship show
tomorrow we'll be
on
there at
Saturdays.
Saturday 11:05 a.m. Sorry, be there, be square. And then I do Serving Facing Hills with my tag partner over here, Miss Stephanie. Check us out every other
Um,
Sunday.
yes. As you can see, I'm actually the last person in the Money to Make match, and I already briefcase. So
Yep.
tell the ladies it's too late. Just kidding. You can catch me here every other Sunday on Serving Facing Hills with the lovely Miss Krssi Love. You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Hypes. You can find me on Instagram at Stephanie Hypes with 2 S's. 2. And I just randomly pop up on these shows. So
Yep.
I try and give you guys some heads up. Sometimes I'm asked last minute. Sometimes we're
Yep.
asked last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But we will try and always let you know where we are, what appearances we'll do, and that type of thing. But thank you so much for joining us again today. Happy Father's Day. Happy episode 27. We will see you guys in 2 weeks right here
2
on
weeks.
Serving Face in Hills.
Thank you.
Bye.
Laters.